Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Elisa. I'm your host, Elisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Okay, you guys, I spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about the positive side of astrology. And honestly, that's intentional. There is so much negativity everywhere. I really like keeping the vibe hopeful. But I also want you to know it's not always sunshine and lollipops over here either. Because so far, I have not been enjoying this Venus in Leo transit. Which is funny because if you've listened to me on the Fun Astrology podcast for any length of time, you know I usually love it when the moon moves from Cancer into Leo. It's lighter, more playful, more social, the kind of energy where you want to get dressed up and go do something fun. So when Venus moved from Cancer into Leo, I honestly didn't think much about it. I assumed it would feel similar. But apparently Venus had other plans for me. Because the day Venus entered Leo, Kevin and I got into an argument over a ceiling fan. And you guys, it wasn't even a serious conversation. I walked into the kitchen, made a few casual comments about him helping me find a new ceiling fan, and man, my words did not land well. He reacted, I reacted, and suddenly we had fireworks in the kitchen. And not the sexy kind. This was the fighty kind. And afterward, I remember thinking, what just happened? Over a ceiling fan. Now, here's the thing. Kevin has an Aquarius moon. And Aquarius moons are actually pretty good at compartmentalizing. They can detach, move on, keep going. And my Capricorn moon isn't exactly known for sitting around processing emotions all day either. So we both kind of moved on. Or so I thought. Because the very next day, it happened again. Different topic, same tension. And at that point, I was like, okay, what is going on? And this is where astrology becomes less of a predictive tool for me and more of a reflection tool. Because honestly, as much as I try to be a good predictive astrologer, I live in Aries land most of the time. Very present, very in the moment, sometimes too in the moment. And when things like this happen, I pull up the charts. Not because I predicted it, but because I'm trying to figure out what the heck just happened. So I looked, and immediately, there it was. It was Venus, who's usually bringing us happiness and joy. But Venus had just entered Leo at 0 degrees, directly opposite Kevin's Aquarius moon, also at 0 degrees. And here's something I think astrology teaches us in a beautiful way. We don't experience life objectively. We experience life through our charts, through our planets, through whatever transits are happening to us in the moment. And in Kevin's chart, Venus represents me. So when Venus entered Leo and opposed his moon, he experienced that emotionally. His feelings were real. His reactions were real. And because Venus represents me, his problem became my problem. And honestly, I was relieved when I figured this out. Not because it magically fixed everything, but because suddenly the experience made sense. And I knew it wasn't going to last forever. Because Venus moves quickly, unlike Saturn, unlike Pluto, Venus doesn't stay in one place for very long. And sure enough, by Monday, Venus had moved on and was beginning to apply to a sextile with Uranus, which was interesting because Uranus is incredibly important in Kevin's chart. Yes, Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, but Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. And Kevin is one of the most innovative people I've ever met. His mind moves so fast. He's always 10 steps ahead. And honestly, part of our second disagreement was connected to that. A few months ago, I had asked him for help with something. He came up with this incredibly Aquarian solution. and I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. I couldn't even fully understand what he was suggesting, so I didn't do it. And from his perspective, I had rejected his idea. Now, at the time, I didn't see it that way. I wasn't rejecting it. I just couldn't get there. And I remember telling him during this whole discussion this weekend, my mind is not as fast as yours. I can't get there as fast as you can. Most people can't. You see possibilities and connections before other people do. And after more than 20 years together, I've gotten a lot better at understanding his ideas, but I still don't naturally think the way he does. And that day we were kind of at an impasse, both of us with hurt feelings for different reasons. But then Venus kept moving, and Venus began applying to a sextile to Uranus. And suddenly we revisited the whole project. Only this time I looked at it with fresh eyes and a fresh mind. And I finally saw what he had been trying to show me months earlier. And now we're all good. And this is one of the things I love about these faster moving transits. Whether it's the moon, Mercury, or Venus, they're temporary. They pass. The feelings are real. The experience is real. But the energy keeps moving. And now that this little Venus adventure seems to be behind us, I've found myself looking ahead. Because after getting caught completely off guard by Venus entering Leo, I immediately started wondering, okay, what planet is next? Who's next to come through Leo and oppose Kevin's moon? And what kind of havoc is that going to wreak in our lives? At first, I thought Mercury, because Mercury is right there in Cancer. But then I remembered Mercury is about to station retrograde, so he won't be rushing into Leo anytime soon. Which means the next big planet making that move is actually Jupiter, the planet of go big or go home. Jupiter enters Leo at the end of this month. And if Venus opposing Kevin's moon got my attention, you can bet I'm paying attention to Jupiter. Now, I'm mostly kidding, sort of, because Jupiter can bring all kinds of experiences. He expands whatever he touches. Sometimes that's joy. Sometimes it's growth. Sometimes it's simply making something impossible to ignore. But the timing of this upcoming Mercury retrograde feels so perfect because Mercury retrograde is often a time for reflection, a time to revisit, a time to process. And here we are, just as Jupiter is preparing to leave Cancer after spending an entire year there. Mercury is already slowing down, almost inviting us to start looking back, to reflect on what Jupiter brought into our lives over the last year. What expanded, what grew, what improved, and how we feel about it now that this chapter is coming to a close. And guess where Cancer is in my chart? It's my 7th house, the house of relationships, the house where my husband lives. And when I started thinking about the last year through that lens, I realized how very much Kevin has helped me to build this astrology business. The website, the Etsy store, the automations, the digital products, the systems behind the scenes. All the things that make it possible for me to focus on what I actually love doing. The astrology, the solar return cards, the readings, the podcast. And I've always been really independent, very Aries. I'll do it myself. My way is best. It's faster if I do it myself. And Jupiter in Cancer has really helped me soften that. It's helped me allow someone else to help me. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer because Cancer knows how to care for people, how to protect people, how to nurture people. And Jupiter expands whatever it touches. And honestly, that's exactly what this last year has felt like. Allowing Kevin to help me, allowing him to support me, allowing him to build things behind the scenes that make my life easier. It's truly been wonderful. So yes, if we had to have a little Venus fire this weekend, so be it. Because as Mercury starts slowing down, and Jupiter prepares to leave Cancer, what I'm finding myself reflecting on isn't the argument, it's the partnership. It's all the ways Kevin has helped me build this astrology business over the last year. It's all the ways he's made my life easier. And that's probably a pretty good reminder for all of us, because astrology isn't just about predicting what's coming next. Sometimes it's about helping us understand what's already happened, helping us see people more clearly, helping us appreciate the people we love, even when we're arguing about ceiling fans. And that, my friends, is astrology in real life. And speaking of real life, I'm about to be doing a little more living of it myself. Over the next few weeks, I'll be traveling again. First for Lily's World Ninja Championships, and then we're planning some family time to unplug a little. Honestly, I am fully living my best ninth house life this summer. Travel, experiences, learning, adventure. It's been a lot of fun. So I'm not entirely sure what the next few weeks of this podcast are going to look like. I will definitely have something here for you every week. And if I have time to record new episodes while we're away, I absolutely will. And if not, I may drop a few replays of some older episodes that feel especially timely right now. I'm thinking maybe my episode on how to navigate Mercury Retrograde, since we've got one coming up, and maybe the Moon Sign Guide to Self-Care episode. That one is always worth revisiting, especially in the spirit of showing up for yourself and showing up for the people you love. And speaking of self-care, if you haven't downloaded your free Moon Sign Guide to Self-Care yet, head over to my website and grab one. And don't worry, I've still got some really great NORWAC conversations recorded that I'll be sharing soon. And my son Will informed me today that he wants to come on the podcast with me. So maybe we'll record an episode while we're away. Maybe he thinks I'm a little bit cool after all. We'll see. All right, you guys, as always, I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Astro friends, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, follow the show, or leave a review. Let's keep growing this beautiful little community together.